Welcome to the Tattoo Marketing Podcast. On this week's episode, we have Stephen Jones, a tattoo artist with nearly 2 decades of experience out of Orange County, California. He also owns a company called Design X Edge that helps small businesses and entrepreneurs start up with logo creation and brand strategy development. Also, I really quickly want to apologize about my audio on this podcast. For some reason, it recorded fairly rough. We did the best we could to save it, but it's a little choppy. Hope you enjoy the episode. We'll talk soon.
I feel like nowadays we have to, as individual artists, we have to become our own companies. There's no longer waiting on somebody else to do the work for us. I believe in some parts of automation as far as being quick to answer a message, being quick to answer a phone call, being quick to do a voicemail back or a voice memo back to somebody to start establishing that relationship. But like, I've seen a lot of people use I think it was a lot of barbers use like Booksy and stuff like that. And it's cool, but there's something about being inefficient sometimes that creates a better bond with a client versus being like, you just feel like you just got sent a link and a booking. Like, you know what I mean? You got to find the success in your inefficiencies sometimes in that hand touch to the person. That's why I've said before, like some of my artist friends, especially newer in the business, and they get a request for a new, because we get them all the time. Hey, how much for a tattoo? Hey, I got your number from a buddy. How much is a tattoo? Okay. Hi. Well, how's it going?
Yeah.
But what's a good idea is to grab your phone, grab it like this, and go, hey man, what's going on? Oh, you want a cool eagle tattoo? That's awesome, man. So what do you think about getting it? Could you jump on a call later on, or do something like, be more personal about it. Just like, yep,
Yeah.
$300. Well, what's that? I mean, like, you're not developing a relationship. You're not developing anything, So
Yeah.
it's just that kind of ideas.
I remember hearing you talk about that, sending the actual message on a phone, just a quick recording. I love that idea. That's fucking phenomenal.
It doesn't cost any money.
Takes 2 seconds and it
2
already
seconds.
builds rapport.
Well, you're trying to, like, my buddy Mikey Getz, who runs the Force of Focus, is like an online mentoring group similar to what Matt Hodell's doing too. He calls it from what's his quote, from hello to heal, the whole entire process, H to H. It's a whole entire thing. So how are you developing that relationship from not knowing them or a friend of a friend, whatever, and right away you called them by their name. Right away you gave them that attention. Everybody wants your attention as a tattoo artist. Like, they want to come, they want your attention. They want you to feel like you're just another person. Like, they come to you for a special reason. It may be like, a sentimental tattoo, maybe just a rose off the wall, or the case is, but that's their rose done by you. That's your time with them. You know what I mean? I think those little personalizations can go a long way. That don't cost much. Don't cost anything. You know what I mean? In between changing your gloves and going to the bathroom, somebody sends you a message, just send us a quick little video back. It won't take long.
No, I love that idea. And I think, again, kind of stepping into it's not all about being a good artist anymore. It's all about relationships and stuff like that. And again, it's always been about relationships, if you want people to come back in, but more now than ever. And so we have this AI booking bot that reaches out where somebody fills out a form for one of our clients. And the biggest reason it gets such a good response is it actually sits there and builds rapport with the person, asks them about their idea. What's the inspiration for it? Like, even though we already know what they want, because they filled out that form and told us what what they want, placement, size, reference images, all that. But it goes out and it builds rapport and it actually makes them excited about coming in. And that is an art in itself that is so underappreciated, because tattoo artists, for a long time, you could just be like, it's $300, see you tomorrow. And that was good enough. That's not how it is anymore. If you are an off-putting person, they're going to go to the artist that's just as good as you at the shop half a block down from you that actually, treats them a little special. It doesn't take a lot, but that's how people want to be treated.
Absolutely. I think it's all the personalization. The person who does a mediocre, we'll say middle ground mediocre tattoo, but has a great rapport, has a great follow through, has a great presence online, people already know them, they're going to be way more booked up than the person who's all about themselves. They know I can do the killer tattoo, I have a long waiting list, this and that. Sure, But then you start seeing these people with that same attitude nowadays, and they're looking for walk-ins, they're looking for
Mhm.
bookings. They're like, well, I thought you were 2 weeks booked out and you had to, jump through hoops and sign an email form and talk to my assistant. Oh my gosh, dude, there's those friction points. You're adding way too many friction points.
Yeah.
Like, it's like going to a website and you don't know where to go from the top right to the bottom left. Like, if there's
Yeah.
too many friction points, you're going to click off. You're
And
just going to click off it. You can't make it that complicated. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays where the industry completely has changed. It's completely gone a different direction where you have to be personalized. You have to make that little special time with that person. You know what I mean? And that's what keep coming back and tell another person. No longer are the days of like just throwing up a cool tattoo on Instagram. And I mean, maybe, sure. I mean,
yep.
but I'm not a purist when it comes to like not using the certain AI tools and bots. I think it can use it all. I think it's
And
it's a full system. You're gonna have certain people who do as much organic personalization as you can do, but also use bots too to see whether you can fish for, like, throw many lines out there. Like you're fishing, throw
yep.
many lines out there. Like, it's okay. It's like a trout line. You throw many stuff out there. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
I only do this way. I only do that way. Whatever, man. Do you want to be successful? This is what it takes nowadays. Because I think what it is like throughout the years, like in a normal like job business, people, the older people are retiring, new people are coming in, that kind of thing. But tattooing, more people are coming in, not a lot of people are leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So really, that pool is just getting that much bigger. You know what I mean? And then the more
Yep.
shops that get built on top of each other in the same city, because this city finally opened up their booking or their zoning to allow it now. And all of a sudden, I'm gonna jump on it because I hate my last shop because he was taking this amount of percentage and I didn't get along with this person. Well, how are you gonna break that cycle? How are you gonna? Is the grass always greener over there if you keep doing the same things? If you don't water your grass, you know,
Yeah.
I
Not going
just,
to
I
make
just
any kind of a change. No, I'm with you. We see it all the time. Is people shopping, looking for that perfect situation, and it starts with you. I mean, you're your brand. You are your own entity. It doesn't. There's never a perfect situation. And
at the time it
granted,
does. At the time
oh
it
yeah,
does. There's always contention. There's always like, all right, this is the shop that's going to have it. They understand real tattooing. They
yeah,
understand, like, I'm going to get my higher cut. Everything's going to be great. Well, that only lasts for so long. It's novel. It's novel. It
yep,
really is. Unless you have SOPs in place as a business owner, an artist expecting, like, I know it's still outlaw and I know it's still kind of like on our own. This is the way it used to be, but I mean, look at some of the older timers who kind of, who have passed away in the last few years, and we have to do a GoFundMe for them because they didn't put their money
yeah,
right, or they didn't do whatever. That's a sad thing because they're legends,
yeah,
and having to do something like that and not being set up and just doing it how it used to be just doesn't work anymore. And I feel bad for the families who had to go through that stuff who weren't set up because those guys, paved the way for all of us. But at the same time, man, we got to be willing to do the work.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's where
It's
we're not rock stars anymore, man. We're business guys. You have to be a business person, man. You can be an artist and a business person at the same time, man. They're not two different ships. They're both ships going the same direction.
yeah. I just did a podcast recently about how if you're a tattoo artist, you're a salesperson, and I know that's going to get some people upset because, like, you think salesperson, you think used car salesman, slick back hair, stuff like that. But if you look at it by definition, like, you eat what you kill as a tattoo artist. You are technically a commission based salesperson. That is what you are. And the fact that, not a lot of tattoo artists know, like, I've spent zero time researching any kind of sales stuff. Because again, it's not this slimy, greasy, gross thing that we all think about. Sales to me is somebody comes to you with a problem, you solve that problem. That's what sales is. Um,
It's like
there's if
I think everybody should read the Carnegie book, right? How to win
it,
people, influence, or what is it? It's
how to
how is it?
win friends and influence people.
Influence People by
Yeah.
Carnegie. Yes, that is like in the war. Is the art no, the war of art, or what was that with by
Oh
cross?
yes, the War of Art. And I can't remember his
It's
second book,
backwards
but
from
both of those are
the
very good. Yeah.
backwards one. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Those are two you need to read as a person of an artist, as a person understanding this is still a business, man. No longer are the days of you can just come in, 10 minutes late, your client's sitting there waiting for you. You still have to go back, and now you have an iPad, so obviously you have all the world in your hands right now.
Totally.
Smoke a quick cigarette, do the thing. Hey, you want this? Blah blah blah. Do the tattoo, have a crappy meal, sit on your belly all day, and then leave and make a drop and be happy. That's not sustainable.
Yep.
It's just not going to work in today's climate. It's not going to today in today's, like, the newer generation of people getting tattooed. They want the little sticker tattoos. They want the quick and goes. They want the, you know what I mean? It's impulsive. It's customer service. But you know what? They got friends. They got friends who will
And
come back to you that next day, or whatever the case is. So it comes down to, do you want to be an artist or do you want to be successful?
yeah, and there's definitely that happy middle ground of where you can be both, but it needs to be a middle ground. More and more, artists that have been doing this for 15 years that we talk to are like, man, I've never been this slow. And then we talk to, and I've referenced her a handful of times. We had an apprentice on the show a couple months ago, and she's great with social media, and she's a fun person to talk to, like someone that has a good personality. And she's been tattooing on skin for now probably 5 or 6 months, and I thought she'd been tattooing for years. Like, phenomenal artist, has been an artist her entire life and just transferred that into tattooing.
Yeah.
But she's booked out months, and she's an apprentice in Vegas, one of the most competitive cities in the fucking world. And again, these guys that have been doing this 15 years that are amazing artists are booked out a couple weeks. And like the only difference is, one, she's good with social media. Two, she's just got a good personality. You can tell she genuinely cares and likes that with what she does. And that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes, especially these days.
Yeah, that's what the newer younger artists kind of understand too. But there's a flip side to that coin. There is a flip side. There is a I wouldn't call it pretentiousness, but I would call it like, you can't just always sit back and just do your drawings on people and expect everybody to come to you and only book them
And,
for your stuff. There still
yeah,
is a little bit of like, you're still newer in the business. There's still, you haven't been around long enough for your stuff to look. How's it look like healed? How's it look like in this situation?
yeah.
You know
It,
what I mean?
it looks better than I thought it would. I'll say that. And I will say,
Right,
so I will also say she is like an oddity. It is the best apprentice I've ever seen in my life.
right,
So,
right.
yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, a very unique talent right there. Not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
average.
I'm sure she's great, but I'm also the other artists who don't get that point, who just want to send, who see what the old cats used to do that did work 10, 15 years ago. It worked, but it doesn't work anymore because they bought into that system, that idea that all I do is sit there on my iPad and just draw my stuff and everybody's gonna come in and come see me when I haven't done anything. I haven't done the work. You, like, to find a new lead, you know this in sales. To find you always have to keep finding the next lead, the next person, because once that invoice is paid, they're usually done. That's it. You have to be on the next lead, talking to the next person, and then those last deals carry over to the next deals, right? And so
Yep.
forth. It's just with a tattoo, they have to carry over. So what are you doing to push it forward? Well, by not changing the habits with this industry and life, that's because we're competing with other things in life too, not just tattooing itself. There's other areas of movement. I mean, people are getting rich off just being YouTubers and commenting other people's videos. You know,
Yeah.
there's something that keeps moving, and we're like 10 years behind everything. You know what I mean? So we need to start catching up, so you realize, hey, you can't just sit back and expect old ways to work, because there are new tactics, there are new ways of getting attention that we need to capitalize on and look towards.
Yeah. And one thing kind of on that same subject that, you and I had talked about, and I know we wanted to talk about today, is creating SOPs, because that's something you do not see in the tattoo industry. And that's one of the reasons that we love using this AI bot so much. Is I mean, it's not going to say the same thing every time, but it's got objectives that it's going to complete in a row every single time. And that's like, most tattoo shops are just like, throw spaghetti at the wall, don't even see what sticks, and then just throw more spaghetti at the wall and
I
whatever.
did one ad and it didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
one
Or even like,
campaign, one.
yeah, one, I spent $5, I didn't make 1,000, I'm
I
done.
boosted it. What, that was good, right? Oh man.
Exactly. So having SOPs, I mean, for having any kind of a sales process, like, you can script out, like, anybody that's worked in a tattoo shop longer than 6 months knows when somebody calls, they're going to ask like one of four different questions. The conversation is going to go one direction. And when it goes in that, they're going to ask just certain questions. Like, you can have essentially rough scripts so you handle it every single time. and see how well that works, and then adjust from there. But again, it's normally just a free for all. Any any other industry that is the size of the tattoo industry or bigger has SOPs in place for their businesses. Like it is
Absolutely.
the lifeblood.
There's gonna be a rainmaker. There's gonna be somebody in the front for opening it up and starting conversations. There's gonna be the managers in the back who close it, and then you have closers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're gonna have all these steps in the way. And typically, okay, most people are gonna just call it a shop, right? How much is
Mhm.
it? Can you guys do something right now? How much is it gonna be? Well, okay, but you haven't developed any relationship right there. You haven't given any need. Right now, they're just calling around shops to see that one obligatory, oblivious like tattoo in balloons. I don't know what's going on here.
That was
Anyway,
me.
I didn't turn off that feature. I forgot. But anyways, it doesn't turn off. Anyways, what I was going with is, they're just price shopping. So how are you getting? How are you giving retention in those few minutes that you have on the phone with them? That makes you different than the last person just picking up a tattoo shop. Yeah, we're available. 300. All right, bye.
Yep.
I mean, what makes you different than the next person they're going to call? Like, at least, hey, how's it going? Like, what are you looking to do? Where are you looking to get it done? Ask some more intriguing questions. Are you looking, is it you or one other person's? There's got to be these kind of systems in play. Whoever answers that a first point of contact. Like, I always tell people, even other tattooers, I mean, if you're looking at another shop or whatever, walk into a shop, see how long it takes for somebody to say hi to you and greet you.
Mhm.
That'll tell a lot about a shop.
Mhm.
They'll tell you everything you need to know about his shop. If they're super busy, nobody's paying attention. If you walk in, if look around, things look clean. Do they have portfolios on there? How are they displayed? How is their merchandise? What's their habits? Can you see the bathroom from where you're at? I don't know, some simple stuff like that.
You
Like,
know,
you got to think the whole. Like I said, from like my buddy says, Mikey Getz says, from hello to heal, the whole entire think the whole process through, because that's how you gain retention with clients coming back to you. You know,
yeah, yeah. Having SOP set up for that, and then again, stuff like when somebody leaves, like what's the follow up process? Like you would be amazed if when somebody is done with the tattoo, if you just ask them if they have like you put in an SOP. Every time the tattoo is done, you ask them, "Hey, is there anything else you want to get on the books while you're here? I have some time next month." No tattoo artist do this. I guarantee you, like probably 20% of your clients will book another tattoo
for
right
more
then.
business
Yeah,
while
but
they're in the chair.
yeah, never leave a conversation without the next step in place and them knowing that, which is kind of back to your point when anybody gets on the phone at a tattoo shop. Okay, cool. Yeah, just come in when you're ready. Bye. Click. Don't like that. It happens every single time. We listen to so many calls from tattoo shops from clients, and like they're never going to show up. Just like get something in writing, like on the books, take a deposit if you have to, if you know who they are. Like, hey, you can reserve this for $10. Even that tiny little thing is enough incentive to get them in.
Something. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. This usually standard is like 100, but who's going to give you 100 over the cat unless they've already been there? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly. If they don't know you, yeah.
that's what's important about having front of house staff, having that first point of contact. I mean, in some shops, obviously, there's only like 4 people who can run it. It's all artists. All right, so the first person as they walk in who's closest to the front has to be that first point of contact. If they're
Mm.
busy, they're not busy, they gotta, like, you have 2 seconds, let somebody walk in, give them a beat or two, and then say, hey, how's it going? Like, give them a friendly smile. So, how can I help you out? And then they'll tell you what they're here for. Typically, oh, I was looking around. Okay, cool, man. I'm gonna check, and then check back on them. Check back. Like, you got to realize that you're winning them over to you, especially if they've never been to your shop before, and that's the
Yeah.
first point of contact. And then you get through the whole tattoo process. Also, next step. All right, when you do the consent form and you get their information, how are you keeping it? Are you still doing piece of paper that looks like chicken scratch? You're not
Mm.
gonna you can throw in the box for 7 years, or are you doing it in a way of, like, I know there's a lot of forms nowadays. You can get jot forms and there's other
Mm.
tattoo ones that you can use, but that's vital information, dude. That's like going to a car dealership, or it's like they want your information, man. The
Mm.
name and number and email. Oh my gosh, people are selling lists like crazy. And guess what? You can use that later on for emails. I know people say it's like, oh, emails are dead, this and that, but they're also not controlled by Instagram going down one day or Facebook going down one day
Yep.
or whatever. They're another lifeline, because what if all that stuff goes down and you have no way to contact your clients or tell them that, we're so good, this and that. But people still check their email. People still check their Gmail account. It has got a million unread things. It's all trash
Oh yeah.
usually, but I think I'm somewhere in like the 38,000. It was bigger, but you know what I mean. Like there's
Yeah.
still those ways you have to be able to control all these different things. And I think as shop owners, but also as tattoo artists, you are your own shop owner within that 10 feet. You know
Yeah.
that's your area. That's your area of thinking all the ways through, and then it doesn't take long. Little simple messages, even after they've gotten the tattoo, a week and a half, 2 weeks afterwards, send them a text message. You can even do a text replacement. Just do a quick little keystroke. Hey, how's it going? A general message. Hi, person's name. Quick little follow up. Boom, done. You can
Yep.
have automated in 2 seconds, and that little reach out, that little organic reach out, is so much. It's so great. It's not hard to do. Somebody else can. You can have an assistant. You can have an apprentice. You can have shop help. You can have your wife, husband, whatever. Say, hey, can you help me out? Sound like me, and just can you just 2 seconds, and that little bit of extra retention can go a long way.
Yeah, and one of the things we do when we start working with the tattoo shop is if they have a past client list, we like to get it from them, and we will send out usually a text message because we love emails too. It keeps you top of mind and stuff. But if you want somebody to actually, like I'm the same way. I have like 53,000 unread personal emails, and it's just like a disaster in there. But you text me, like the only text I have on my phone right now are ones that came in since we started this, 30 minutes ago. Um, but you get those like people's information, your past client list built out, man, and dude, come October when things start to slow down, start sending out texts. Hey, if you come in within the next week, we'll give you 10% off or a free hat or literally anything. Dude, we usually get 8 to 12% of people that we send out a text to will actually come into the shop and get tattooed. Like it's huge. These are people, as long as they've already had a good experience in your shop, they're going to come back, especially for any tiny kind of little deal. Or anytime you have a guest artist or you're doing an event. I mean, I know flash stuff usually is already crazy, but if you're doing a fundraiser, um,
Charity
also,
events work great. They're fantastic, and you're helping out
yeah,
somebody else, and people are more willing to come in, especially if that charity aligns with something that they connect with. Absolutely.
exactly. And another cool thing you can do with that to keep you top of mind without being annoying is there's plenty of softwares like we use Go High Level. When it's
Mm-hmm.
somebody's birthday, we can set it up so they get a text on their birthday. Hey, Steve, happy birthday. If here's 10% off for the next month if you want to come get tattooed. I hope you have a great day. It's just stupidest little things like this. Hey, Merry Christmas. Hey,
Another
Happy
line
New.
up
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's a million different little touch points you can do. And it's just to keep you top of mind. Like Gary V's book, like jab, 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 right hook. Like you don't always have to be selling them. It doesn't always have to be an offer when you're trying to get them into the shop. You're just saying hi. You're saying happy birthday. You're being a friendly, normal, socialized human being, which some tattoo artists aren't. But this way you can make it
they thought they're
automated.
just artists. You just come in, you love their stuff, you love their red pencil drawing. You come in, it's amazing, and life is great from now on, right? But
Yeah.
that's where the tides have turned. That's where things have changed. That's where you're seeing a lot of turnover rate from shop to shop.
And
There's not. I don't see too many shops anymore with artists who've been there longer than say maybe 4 or 5 years.
yeah.
Typically, is a rotate, even less. Typical less. I've seen year and a half, 90 days, stuff like that, and it's just never going to change unless you change,
Yeah.
unless you figure out how to adopt. We always know with most tattoo artists, there's a slow time in the October, September, October, November. Okay, awesome. How's your merch game?
Yeah.
People are gonna buy. They're going from service buying to purchase buying. They're going to be buying physical things because they still want the stuff or they want to buy for somebody. Okay, cool. Do you have your merch sign set up? Do you
Yeah.
have, like, I always tell people also, too, like, even in a shop, you should have some type of giveaway, some type of like a t shirt, a hat. I don't know, whatever the case is. As soon as they leave, give them a hat, give them a
Yeah.
shirt. You just make a couple $100 off them. What's a $10 shirt?
Yeah.
And there's that much. If you get on their chest, on their head, and they're wearing it, they're gonna remember you a lot more than just some person who just walked into a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
These are little point, like you're saying, little points of contact. I said too, it was the silliest thing. I was like, you know what? Go out and get promotional pens, click pens.
Mm.
Give them to every. This is like guerrilla marketing style. Obviously, we can use SOPs with Go High Level and all these different
Mm.
digital ways, but the tactile ways. and get simple pen, click, 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 give them to every single waiter and waitress you know.
Mm,
Because they're going to need 10 or 12 in their pocket all the time to when they give the bill out, some person goes, oh, that's cool. Can I keep this? Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. Tell them, Steve sent you. Whatever the case is, simple little things like that go a long way. Go such a long way, especially nowadays where we have to do everything from the automation to the guerrilla style marketing. It has
yeah,
to be one everything. There's no one source. Do them all. You know.
yeah. And 100% agree on the little things, man. I remember the first time I actually got a little aftercare bag after I got tattooed from a new artist. I was like, that's awesome. I didn't like it probably cost them $1 to get that stuff. And it was like a huge deal to me because no artist had ever given me that. I was like, oh wow, you are actually taking care of me. That's huge. I appreciate you.
Well, also too, you're saying, "Hey, I sent you away with the bandaging. I sent you away with aftercare. There's no excuse for it to heal wrong unless you went, out in the sun, or you went to the river, or you went like crazy. Then that's on you. But I sent you away with the right bandaging, the right dressing, lotion, ointment, soap, whatever. Even the little bottles, like you had exactly what. And that's usually all you need, unless you're constantly getting tattooed all the time. But for most tattoos, pork chop size, hand size, or bigger, like you don't need much. And I say with
Yeah,
all the stuff, there should be no unless you're allergic to something or the cases. But typically, like I say, you're protecting that return, that good positive feedback, and you should be checking up on that in a week and a half, whatever the case is. And if you got too much on your phone, it's going to distract you. Get a second phone.
yeah,
Get a burner phone with only your client list.
yeah.
Only your client list on there. Blast out from there so you can separate business and personal. That's fine. But they're so cheap nowadays. You can get extra line, and it's so simple. I
Oh
even
yeah,
tell people too, if you have a shop, this is just more of a tactile, like kind of thing. Rather than getting a shop phone from wherever tattoo shop, get a cell phone on Verizon. Because now,
yeah,
when you leave the shop, or you're the only person watching the shop that day, and you go down, you close the shop, go get some lunch. We'll take the phone with you. You can still answer a call. You can still book a call. And it's just a phone. You can text that person. The
mhm,
smartest, and it's probably gonna be the same cost or close to,
it is.
a bundling
Yeah.
package. So it's these little things that you're missing on that I think just add to the big picture.
No, agreed. Agreed. 100%. There's a million different small things, and the cell phone thing I absolutely love. There's a lot of shops that still have landlines, and you would be surprised, especially these days, how many probably texts you're missing out on. People texting that number because they don't. I don't know. People don't like phone calls anymore. It's a different. It's a
I'm the
different
opposite.
time.
If I get my message across, I call them right away. I'm like, text message is the same, but you can't get inflection, you can't get
Yeah.
tone, you can't get anything, and I need a direct answer. I need like,
Yeah.
hey, what time is this? Boom, boom. All right, cool, awesome. I confirm, you confirm, we're out. Like,
Yep.
I just need that confirmation, and just that little thing right there, and it could be a matter of 5, 10 more appointments for you or your shop.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. There's so many tiny little things we can do. So I'll ask you this: what are the things that you think shops could do that would make the biggest difference immediately?
Immediately, I would say, especially owners, investing more into promotion of your artist on every single day. I think just a 15-second video, just with their name and giving the environment of the shop and the person. I think the more you pay attention more with your artist and promoting them, because essentially they're still shop cutting to the shop, right? So that person technically is making money or wherever the case is, but your artists feel like they want to be part of the team. They want to feel like this boat is going somewhere, and I got all the right people on the bus or boat, whatever you want to call it. So I'd say something like that would be the first and foremost, because that's the attraction. That's what people are looking at online. So I think one thing I had this idea, this concept. I was like, what if tattoo shops had the budget to have an in-person photographer video in studio every single day. Doesn't be much, could be cake or whatever, but they're constantly taking photos. They're constantly making videos. It's not hard to get on like Video Leap on your phone or CapCut or wherever these things that you can easily make video edits. Oh, I
Mhm.
need 7 little 3-second clips. Cool. Shoom, 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 shoom. Boom, gone, done. Stay on
Yeah.
the stay on the pulse. Stay on the pulse of these where the kids and people are looking at now. I think that's huge. The minute you sit back and rest on old laurels that I have to do a design and do a picture of me tattooing may not be enough. Might not be
Yeah.
enough right now. So I think being more vocal, somebody being the face of that shop, I think would be crucial right now. I think that's where the familiarity, that's where you understand people, that's where people understand what you're about, and they make that connection. And they've already bought from you before they even walked in the shop. They
Mhm.
bought your idea, your attitude, the environment. Um, I think that's where people are realizing that they have to start doing that nowadays. They have, or at least hire like a photographer or a videographer to come in once a week and take videos for you. Because the last thing people want to do, like they want the videos, they want the cool little, motions and
Yeah.
pictures of them tattooing, but it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to ask somebody, "Hey, can you take this picture for me and make this good?"
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and usually you know what I mean. It's one of these necessary evils that I think has to be done, but they want to do it themselves. Okay, cool. Why don't you pull up your artist with some money or your tips or whatever, and hire in some in studio who can either be there once a day, once a week, whatever the case is, and have them film roll
And
videos in between all the just a picture of tattoos. You know what I mean? Break up the timeline, break things up, create an environment, a place you want to keep coming back to and checking on. Like one thing I like to watch is like vlogs of just normal businesses or like from startups because you want to see the story. You want to see this arc of the story, where they came from, where you go. I was with them day one, and now look at them. They're going crazy. They're everywhere. People love that. That's what we're all about. We're here to tell stories. We're here to follow the journey. So I think as shop owners, I think that's where you need to start heading into creating that environment and creating those SOPs from hello to healed. I think that would be your biggest point of retention. Also, you got to do the other things too. Obviously, the digital stuff we talked about with CRMs and Go High Level and the reach outs and stuff. But you got to make sure your product is good when they come into your studio and all that is thought through. Every point you have every point of contact. I think. Sorry, it's a little long winded, but
no, I agree 100%, man. One of the things that um I've talked about with a few guests that do pretty well is having that good presence online. All 95% of shops in ours, you go to their page, it's just pictures of their work. Like that's great, but I don't even know. Man, I was talking to Matt Vaught probably a year ago, and he tells me the story about like someone coming up to him at a tattoo convention. He knew exactly who Matt was, acted like they've been old friends, and he realized like halfway through the conversation, oh, this is somebody I've been talking to online, but there were no pictures of their face, so he had no clue who it actually was. I was like, that's how people feel though. They again, we're getting to the point where almost all tattoo artists are good, at least at an acceptable level. Um, Now it's also turning into what is your personality like? Am I going to vibe with this person? They want to know who you are, like outside of your work. Like someone's going to spend 6 hours, 8 hours sitting in a chair with you. They want to know they're not going to hate you from the second they walk in.
exactly. They're buying it not only the tattoo. You could do a decent tattoo, but they're buying into you. They're buying into your time. Everybody wants the go-to guy. Everybody wants the go-to person, and they'll be loyal to that person as long as the experience and the product is great.
Yeah.
But like I said even before, even the person who is like, well, I feel like the middle ground of tattooing and how good it's become is expanding ever so. You know what I mean? Like it's rare that you can go to a shop nowadays and get a really bad tattoo unless you didn't do your homework or whatever the case is. Right?
Yeah.
But the middle ground's getting so good. So all right, let's take that. Let's take the artistry off the plate. Let's bring in the SOPs. Let's bring in the customer relationships. Let's bring in the bedside manners. Okay, there's
Yeah.
more to be said with that. Now let's concentrate on that part. You didn't have to do that before. Before you just had to prove your artistry. You just had to prove like the pictures and that and this. All right, well, things have flipped. We're changing it now. What's the other parts we had to concentrate on? And I think that's most important right now in this climate as of 2024. You know,
Yeah, agreed. And it, something I've preached about, I've harped on is like the industry has grown so much, and even just the last 2 years post COVID, it's projected to double again by 2029, 2030. Like this stuff that we're talking about now is going to be mandatory by then. This stuff, like now you're getting into it, you're an early adopter, which is always bodes well. You always want to be an early adopter, but not only that, but the stuff that we see in these other industries. So I used to do marketing for window replacement company years ago. That is a huge industry. We worked with a company that went from 20 million when we started working with them to $62 million. So they have call centers, they have SOPs, everything is perfect. And, that's a huge company. But even the smaller mom and pop ones, you saw that they had dedicated salespeople, they had like SOPs, all of that stuff. And that's any other industry. When the tattoo industry gets to, people think it's saturated now, give it a couple years. The stuff that other industries are doing is going to be mandatory, and you're going to either adapt and die. And like, I know that ruffles a lot of feathers, but
That's
that's
true.
that's what happens. Like, I don't give a shit. The economy doesn't give a shit what you think. Like, that's just what's going to happen. You can try to fight it, or you can embrace it and understand. Like, learning these tactics that normal businesses that are service based already do is only going to benefit you and future proof you for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Because again, we have a lot more people coming in. We're going to have a lot more people coming into the industry. Eventually, it's going to level out. But the people that are going to be staying in it are the people that are getting this stuff down and understanding that it's not good enough to just be a tattoo artist anymore. In the same way, it's not good enough to just be a HVAC repair person or a plumber. Like, if you suck and you have bad reviews, like, people just aren't going to
You
use
can get
you.
sunk
It's
in a
as
day
simple
with
as
a
that.
bad Yelp review or a Google review or whatever. You get sunk in one day. So you have to protect that legacy. You have to protect those comments and making sure all your SOPs are in line, because if not, I mean, it takes one bad one so people see and look. Oh, I mean, what I mean, you go from the 5-star rating down to like a 4.5 and a 3.5, and whatever the case is. But yeah, I mean, it's not like in the tech industry, it's not like AI is taking over, but the people who know how to utilize
Mhm.
AI will take over.
Sure.
Will adapt to the climate, and
Sure.
and you can, like I said before, you can't go back to old things and expect new results.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Agreed, man. There's so much, and that's the thing. I mean, with the industry changing and stuff, and all the stuff that's come out lately with AI, like the bot that we use, the fact that we're not there yet, but in about a year, you're going to be able to make phone calls with AI that uses Chat GPT, and it's going to sound like a person. There's already softwares out there like that. They're just not to the standard that we would like to use them yet.
it's
But
gonna
give it
get
a
there.
year,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to get there, and they're going to get there fast. Um, it's more competitive than ever, but there's never been more tools to make it easier at the same time.
So let me ask you this, since we'll probably back and forth on this. If you were today, you had a limited amount, we'll say a good amount of money, and you were open a tattoo shop, 4-person tattoo shop in your hometown right now, what are things that you would do differently than the normal like old salty dog owner who's been doing it years before? What would you do first thing? Like, walk me through what you think should be in place first nowadays with a tattoo shop now.
If I was going to, first, I wouldn't do it in my town because I live in a small town and a good friend owns a shop.
Where are the
Not
cases? Where are the
that
cases?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would go 30 miles that way and then I would open a shop. Um, my thing, I mean, I know social media works. I know advertising works, paid advertising. That's my background. Um, I built at this point $3 million a year companies, and I grew my last company to 6 figures in less than 10 weeks using paid advertising. That's what I know. That's what I'm good at. So essentially, even before we opened, we'd be running ads for opening day, brand awareness stuff, just letting people know, starting to collect people's information. Um, and then I think hiring is huge. And I know it's hard to find good artists these days, ones that are going to stay, but they're definitely out there. I talked to some shops. Again, it's much rarer than it used to be, but they have had the artists 10, 15 years and they love being there. But so they're out there. They're just hard to find.
Right.
That, and then if hiring a front desk person, people always see it as it's a cost, but it's an investment. And I
Necessity
would
now.
exactly. And I would hire a front desk person with sales experience, not somebody that wants to be a tattoo artist. That is one of the biggest things I think that is made as a mistake is, hey, my friend's niece is thinking about being a tattoo artist. Okay, well, she'll come work the front desk. We're spending that extra $5 an hour to get somebody that has sales experience, because I guarantee you that $5 an hour will translate tenfold
Just
when they
walk
can
to the mall.
actually get
Walk to
people
the
into your
mall
shop.
and give somebody a job, dude. Like walk into a Zoomies, walk into a Tilly's, and just give somebody. They know right away. front facing how to do this job.
Yeah.
Like that is such a necessity nowadays. Absolutely.
Mm.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, that's 100% agreed, man. So I think those are the major things I would start. And then social media is huge. Again, where I'm at, it's a smaller town. Organic social media wouldn't do as much as I want it to do, but if you're in a bigger city, 100%. And then working on, and again, this goes back into the paid ads stuff, but you can get, like, I don't usually care about followers and stuff like that, but if I can get people within 15 miles of my shop that are the top 10, 15% income rates that I know can afford my stuff to follow me, that's a long-term play that works every single freaking time. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a million followers, but they're all over the world. Whereas if you have 2,000 followers within 15 miles of your shop that make a shit ton of money and love tattoos, guess who makes more money? Like, it works every single time.
Well,
But
a virus
again,
has to spread from the central location, right? You have to develop that location for it to go out, right? For them to
yep,
come see you and come back in, right? So you're exactly right.
yeah. So that is what I would do. And then again, SOPs, but I've built enough businesses at this point that I have some business sense. So just carrying that stuff into it, man. I mean, learning a little bit of business, learning a little bit of sales would do a lot for a lot of tattoo artists and shop owners.
Yeah, I think that almost should be a mandatory. It always should be. I think as a business owner, you need to have your systems in place too. You got to
Mhm.
have your systems for success and your systems for, well, when somebody wants to leave or open up their own shop. Don't be like the last person. I don't never talk to them. Come get your stuff. Don't be my competition. Most of the time, the same customers are not your competition. Even if they open up 2 blocks away, I almost have never seen the same client, rare form, go from this shop to that shop constantly.
Yeah.
The shops typically have their own style, their own competition, whatever the case is. If anything, you have competition within your own shop, within your
Mhm.
own people in there, which it never should be. You should never hire anybody that you don't feel comfortable of your client going getting tattooed by you, and then that next person, and then the next person. That should be across the board. Don't hire them if you feel them as competition. That's the wrong way to do it. But
Yeah.
hire those people that you can trust your whole business to, and train them up like so. Because essentially, you're always apprenticing somebody, even if they're just your employee. You're apprenticing in the
Mhm.
way of how you do business. But you should have those expectations. Like, I don't know, it's not that cool anymore, or people do it, but maybe owners should have some type of, not a contract, but some kind of agreement.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's going to go south at some point with some artists. All the time, happens all the time.
Okay.
Some kind of agreement between each other. Hey, if you
Okay.
didn't establish the ground rules in the beginning with your artist and just say, hey, there's your station, there's your cut, like, and they start acting a fool 90 days from now, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning of a baseball game, the umpires come together and tell you, well, over this wall there's this rule and this rule. Well, cool, you establish those ground rules. Our shop owners need to have those ground rules in the beginning now, and also let you know where you're going. Why are you doing this? Why are you putting money into your marketing? Why are you putting money? Well, because of this, and this. This is the reason. And I think full transparency is very key with your artist as an owner. Where is this bus going? And then we should make sure we have everybody on it. It's supposed to be on it.
Agreed, man. I have talked to some shop owners where it's wild. Like, I understand, tattoo artists are independent contractors,
Sure.
but they make it seem like they have no control over anything, and these people can do whatever they want. It's like, you own this shop, you own all this equipment. Like, you cannot, like, talk to a shop owner who literally had like a mutiny on his hands, and it's like, dude, you got to put your fucking foot down. Like, I get that they can go to another shop, but that sounds less stressful than what you're dealing with right now. Like, it's
It's a problem of transparency. I think sometimes people are afraid to be transparent. There's what they're going through, whether it's good or bad. I've seen it too many different times where I'm working at a shop. I don't know what's. I never see the owner. He comes in and out, and all of a sudden you see him on a vacation with a boat and an RV. I'm like, oh, I never see you here, and we can't. Our light bill has like the third notice of it being shut off, or the case of like, where's the transparent? What's happening here? Are we just here to make you money and that's it? Like, and then we're all just starving dogs, stabbing at each other and floor sharking. Like, that's not the way to do this. I
yeah.
mean, I think it's at both sides. I think people need to be transparent on both sides when it comes to a business, so we all can grow together. along each. It's no less. I think like Matt was saying, Matt Hodel was saying that I'm not trying to pull you up this hill. I'm trying to all of us be behind you. My arms are wide, and we're all going together.
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna make this team work, like you would like a franchise baseball team or something like that.
Yeah. Being a leader versus being a boss.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a big difference.
I do wish there was a way to have, because I know that's an issue with employees when they see the boss making more money, doing more stuff. I wish for just like a month you could switch spots and see how much stress and shit you deal with.
The
That's why you get the
liabilities, yeah,
perks. Yeah, that's why you get the perks of having the boat and going on the vacation, is because you, like, an employee, when they leave, they shut off. Like, they're done for the day. As the boss, as the owner, like, you wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats, like, oh fuck.
I do that now, and I
I
have my
know,
own.
right? Yeah,
No, I do that
yeah,
now. Like I told my wife, there's random times in the middle of the night, I'm up for an hour, just my brain's starting to move, and I can't get
yep,
back to sleep for a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this invoice going to go through? Did I tell this person about this, deliverable being on Friday and not Thursday? Like it's just how it goes. Your brain never
yep.
can turn off. But
Nope.
that's not a bad thing. But as a normal, I guess clock in, clock out employee tattoo artist, you're done as soon as you close the shop doors, essentially.
Yeah, and
But
again, that's
how do you
why they
portray
only
that
gets the
ownership with
perks.
everybody else? You know?
Yeah, that's the hard part, man. I actually had a talk with my mentor a couple months ago, and she is like phenomenal at what she does. She owns a marketing agency like me. She works with martial arts studios. She has over 500 clients. Like, she's killing it. It's something I've looked up to for a very long time. I was like just about to have this nervous fucking breakdown. I was just at the end of my fucking leash, and
Yeah.
I messaged her and I was like, "Do you ever feel like you're just gonna lose your shit?" She's like, "I spend probably 3 days a year in my bed just crying." I was like, "Thank God!" It makes me feel so much better. It's not just me, because like I see her as the pinnacle of achievement right now. Like, she's a stud. Um, but that's the thing. I mean, back to your point, kind of transparency and stuff. And employees will never understand that, man. They'll never understand. You get the perks, you make the most money because you do that. You spend a
It's
day
a
in
risk.
bed, like in paralysis. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? How am I gonna replace this person? Like, I'm getting ready right now. I have employee that is probably going to go through a really shitty family issue here very shortly, and I've got another one at the same time that is going to have a baby, and I'm like, okay, so both of those are going to be out for months. I need to replace them, so now I'm like, emergency. Like, it's just shit like that. That unless you're in that position as a owner of a business, you can't understand.
Yeah, work goes on. Though people take
Yeah,
time off, vacations, absent leave, having a baby, work still has. We can't just pause that work. We promise the client a certain turnaround time or certain deliverables,
exactly.
or they're not. Guess what? They're not going to pay that invoice.
Yeah, yeah,
I can't pay
exactly,
you, so it's like,
exactly.
yeah, we got to figure this out real quick.
Yeah,
I
life
have a
goes
backup.
on and it's stressful. Yeah. Hey Steve, I've had you on for almost an hour, man. I massively appreciate you coming on. That was a good conversation. I always love ones like that with other entrepreneurs that kind of have the same mindset as myself. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was a fun chat. Anytime, man. Anytime. I'm just trying to bridge that gap. You know what I mean? I'm a tattooer, still 20 years tattooing, but I also own my own like design agency too. So I had the same. Are you off? Did you stop recording? Or yeah, recording in higher quality. No, stop recording. You still there, Jesse? You didn't close that window, did you? You still there, brother? I got no link, no nothing. It says it's still recording.
That was weird. Oh, um, can you hear me? What the fuck is happening? Yeah, it says it's still recording.